Hello, this is Arnel Tanyag with Tanyag Company. I'm doing Dear Arnel Week 6 video blog. It's about 30 minutes in length. We go a little bit sometimes over. So people ask me, what's the purpose of this video blog? Well, to let people know about me and what's new. I've been in the business coaching, training, and advising space for about 20, 10, 15, 20 years. But I've been helping business people for 25 plus years. And I think when you do this type of video, people get to really know you, what you offer, because I believe people only remember you when they experience you maybe 10, 15 years ago, but they don't remember you for what you are now and what you want to be. So I like to share like a lot of my vast life experiences, personally, professionally, over the last 25 years. And I hope and have faith this will be beneficial for people who are willing to just listen and watch the video, because I'm sharing experiences that I've seen. Either I've done it, seen other people done it, or working on it, or talked to people who've done it. A lot of my stuff isn't conceptual. A lot of it is either I experienced it, my clients experience this, past or current. I know people have done it. And, I have an extended, vast network of people, not only here across the country. I belong to multiple associations. I know a bunch of different people. I know enough. People goes, oh no, you know everybody. Well, I know of them. Some of them I know deeper, but I think because I do care and I do really want to help. People are always open to the idea of at least having a conversation. And the other thing I want to do is I want to share tips, resources, ideas, connection, recommendations that help the next business owner succeed in their business life. Because I work with business owners. Primarily, I work with successors of family-owned businesses in construction, helping them overcome imposter syndrome and burnout so they can grow and scale in the lower middle market. And then the bottom line is I want to be that go-to guy. And people ask me, well, Arnel, how do you be that go-to guy for business networking? Well, I built my business on networking. It's all 95% networking. And I've done it. I ran BNI groups 25 plus years ago. And I had B2B groups besides B2C groups. I've developed referrals. I have clients who work on referrals. I get most of my business from referrals. I'm part of an organization called Refer Co that's constantly working on referrals. And I'm currently working with clients right now that want to get to 15, 20, 30 million. My largest client right now is about 11 million that wants to do 12 million this year. Then I have another client that is around 9 million that wants to shoot to 10, and he has a 25% growth rate. So, I work with a lot of successors by highly growth family-owned companies, because if you're in a family-owned business, and it's not always easy to grow a family-owned business, and especially to scale. So the bottom line is I just want to provide good content, let people know what I'm doing differently, and have faith and hope that they will go, hey, I like that guy. I like what he does. I'm going to at least have a conversation with him and see if his personality and what he does, what he offers, fits in well what I need. So what we're going to be talking about today, question 2, is I was working with a business owner, and he didn't realize, and I have to have a talk with him, he didn't realize he hit a natural ceiling of achievement. So if you have ever read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, it's about the one thing, that surprisingly simple truth about extraordinary results, achieve your goals. It's the book. It's a phenomenal book. It's a required reading as a MAPS business coach. And one of the things I love about the book, it talks about purpose, productivity. It talks about plan, profit. And what the amazing thing is, we're going to talk about that natural ceiling achievement. And the reason I talk about this is because in the book, if you haven't read the book, you should go get the book. It's a bestseller, and I read it once a year to really fine tune my skills and understanding why most people just don't grow or scale. And a lot of it is because there are already model systems out there, just people just have to follow and stick to it. The challenging part is there's so much information. So how do you know what works or not? you go to people who've actually done it. I mean, if you look at Gary Keller and what he's done in Keller Williams and the other 100+ companies he has, it's a phenomenal system. And the one thing is the basis of that focus. So when we go to the ceiling achievement, I was talking about that business owner who didn't realize he had a ceiling achievement. When you and I have this slide here. When you hit a ceiling of achievement, most business owners, or even most salespeople, or in the 100% salespeople, commission salespeople, business development people, or owners themselves, they do what comes naturally to them. We call it the entrepreneur approach. I'm doing. Feels good. And the ego is up and down. See, this thing goes up and down, up and down. They get disappointment, resignation, greener pastures. They want to look somewhere. Oh, they're like, I got to get out. I don't feel it. And the cycle gets continue on and on and on and on because they hit a ceiling. They can't break through. And the reason they can't break through, because they don't realize they got to be purposeful. They have to go to the purposeful approach, which is doing what goes unnaturally. I call it, in like positive intelligence, I call it the uncomfortable awareness. You're now aware that you're hitting this ceiling, and you can either decide to stay in that entrepreneur approach, disappointment, you want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. Or I need to look at greener pastures. And you know what? People would look at green. They start doing other businesses, but they're still the main person doing the business. They don't have somebody running it. They're just adding side hustles that takes away the focus. And that cycle goes from disappointment, resonating, greener pastures, just over and over and over again. But what they have to really decide is like, I'm hitting the ceiling achievement. And then what they have to do is like, am I open? Am I open? Because a lot of times when business owners, and I see this, when they hit this entrepreneur approach and they hit this natural ceiling of achievement, they start, I say in this words, and they get stupid. And what they do is they go back to their old habits again. They're not actually open-minded. They're not trainable and coachable. They're very standoffish. Like, I know what I do. My business is different from everybody else's business. Nobody understands. Like, yeah, every business has nuances, but the unique thing is you're operating from what you're doing natural. And especially if you're a business owner who loves to sell. I call it salesman business owners. When those are the leader, this is harder for them because their natural achievement is selling. They're great at selling. They probably was one of the top salespeople in the company before they started their own company. They're very good at sales. So what happens is they are competing with themselves because like, well, if I know how to sell, I know everyone else. Well, that's not always true. Or I'm different, my business is different from that. And I'm like, yeah, but if you look at the pattern of the last 5 or 6 years and you haven't been able to grow out of one location to the other, you haven't been able to build a leadership team, you haven't built a number one, you don't have leadership team meetings, you have people who like you, but they don't take ownership because you have now reached a natural scene of achievement. Your entrepreneur approach is not allowing you to get to the next level. You don't know what you don't know, and you're stuck. Now, some of the owners I work with, they realize I am so stuck, Arnel. I got to get to that next level. I have to break through. I got to get through that. And so, what a lot of times when we decide if we're going to work together, do they hit that ceiling? And are they willing to invest time, money, and resources? And are they coachable? Are they trainable? Are they willing to put their pride to the side and look at the purpose and what do I have to become and what resources, I say, if you look at a purposeful approach, what focus do I have to focus on? What models? And models are frameworks. What systems do I have to work through? What breakthroughs do I have to break through? A lot of the breakthroughs is in them. So you have to switch from an entrepreneurial approach to a purposeful approach. And what I find out is the reason most business owners cannot get out of the day-to-day because they only do what they know, what they can do. They don't know what they don't know and hit that ceiling achievement. And they're not always open to get outside opinion, outside eyes to look at that. And so when the people who grow with me have a 25% growth rate, 10% growth rate, they know that they're hit their ceiling. Their entrepreneurial approach, what's going naturally, isn't got me here, but it's not going to get me to the next level. and I got to go purposeful. I have to do what comes unnaturally. So what I need to do is focus. I need to figure out the models, their frameworks, systems, and have breakthroughs. And the models is a lot of times it's people models, it's accountability models, it's organizational models, and that's what MAPS has. And then systems. What kind of systems? Like you have a software. Like I have a client right now that they realize if they want to get to 13, 15, 20 million, they have to set up a ERP system. And they know they have to work on that despite the fact they have a 25% growth increase. And despite the fact that they have over the next 12 weeks, a lot of their leadership team on vacation. That just came up. They realized, holy smokes, we have a lot of people on vacation now. They're coming out a plan to really now work on still implementing that ERP system while still hitting their goals. Because they actually now are, their whole mindset between the CEO and the CFO are purposeful. A lot of owners don't cross over. See, if you look at here, they don't break through. They see what happens. They go here, 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 here. Somebody who goes through an entrepreneur to purposeful, they can see trajectory. So one of the biggest challenges I see is that when you're working with people, business owners, and I'll go back to here, is the challenge is they don't know what their ceiling achievement is. That's that. First of all, they don't even know what a ceiling achievement is. Some of them have an idea, but the blind spot is they don't even know what it looks like, right? And sometimes they deny it, especially these I call the sales owners. They deny it because I can just sell more now. I'll just sell. I'm like, okay, we can keep selling, but can I give you my opinion? I think that's not enough. I think we got to look at operations. We got to look at why are people leaving? Why can't you get more people who want to stick? Especially in the back office stuff. So the blind spot is they don't know what their ceiling achievement is. They don't even know what it is, and they don't know that they're operating for what they know. We call the entrepreneur that comes naturally, and now they have to break through. And the only way to help them is really help them understand you got to go from E to P. So you got to go from E to P, and you have to willing to do that. And to do that, you have to be coachable, trainable, and you have to find somebody who'll help you work through that. So a lot of the clients that I have, we work through this, and it's some of it's really hard because you really have to want this P, this purposeful approach, which is your purpose. You really want to have it. You have to break through that. So that's why you have to put focus, model, systems, breakthrough. And that comes from the book in the sense of, understanding, E to P. But once you do that, then every year, it doesn't matter what your goal is, like it's 5 years, not 50 million, you work backwards. You're always going to be purposeful approach. You're going to break through every ceiling. You're going to break through that. A lot of my clients who buy into this break through that because they know on the other side they want more time and money. They know it's something they enjoy and they want that. So the next question is, someone was asking me about. I was working with somebody in business development and marketing, and they were saying, "Yeah, I'm going to go to an event. I'm just going to give some marketing material of my stuff." And I was like, "Oh, you're going to give me your marketing mugs and all that?" I said, "Does that work for you?" "Oh, yeah. It works for me, Arnel. People remember my name." And I was like, "Huh." I said, I told him, I'll be honest with you. When I get a mug or a thing with somebody's name and all that, right? If I don't have a use for it, right? I'll throw it away or give it to the Salvation Army because that's a promotional material. That's not designed to wow me. That's just designed for me to be your unofficial salesperson or promoter. So one of the biggest challenges I think people have is around, gifts and nominate, gifts, right? Another thing is called gifts, right? And one of the things that I tell people around gifts is that you have to be, looking at gifts as more as a tool to generate referrals and gain prospects. So one of the best books that I've read is called Giftology, and that's from The Art and Science of Using Gifts to Cut Through Noise, Increasing Referrals, and Strengthen Retention. I got this book that's recommended by Michael Mayer in the Generosity Generation, and it's a phenomenal book. So let me tell you a quick story. I have a good friend of mine who's a business development person, and she's like, she's always handing out promotion materials. And she was trying to get in front of this one gentleman. I said, hey, why don't you go ahead and get the book Giftology and read it, and then we'll talk about it. She says, well, okay, why? Because, well, sometimes the best gift can get you into the door and have people start doing business with you. She said, really? I said, who are you trying to get in? She mentioned the name. I said, what is he or she like? He goes, well, I've heard he likes, I think, the Deadhead or some type of rock, Deadhead band or some rock band. And she goes, okay, what do you think you can do? I'm gonna get somebody to draw a picture of that band on a growler, and I'm gonna deliver it to him and say, hey, I'd like to get a shot at your business. She did it. And she did the research. It was important to him. I had somebody paint a picture of the band or something, I don't know, and put it on a growler, delivered to the office manager. Hey, can you hand it to him? And he goes, all right, hand it to him. And he goes, okay, have her come in. He goes, you know what? No one's ever done this before. I'd like to go ahead, have you come in and we'll give you a shot. Amazing. And this was a person she was calling on for probably a couple months. I think, 3 or 4 months. And he was really nice. Office manager, really nice, but he could not get in the door until she created a gift that was uniquely personal to him. So one of the things I tell people about gifts that's really interesting is you want to consider gifts is in the gifts. One of the things you want to do is Giftology is one of the best books you read it. So I actually did a review. I broke down the summary of Giftology. I read all the chapters and I write down the highlights. So I'm going to go over it really quickly. So one of the things they say, it's really interesting that he said that sometimes the best gift is a simple handwritten note. I mean, most people don't do handwritten notes. I still write handwritten notes when it's important. Like for example, I use his Giftology. Like every year, if a client stays with me for a year anniversary and they continue on, I send them a gift. So, for example, I have a client who loves golf. So the first year, I sent him a golf organizer for his car. He loved it. His wife goes, oh my God, that was phenomenal. I love it. He actually gave me a referral one time. I used Giftology again, and he likes golf. I sent him a portable humidor where when he goes golfing, he has cigars. He can put this portable humidor. He called me, oh my God, Arnel, that was phenomenal. And then one year on his second anniversary, I sent him some golf stuff, some tees, a golf bag. Well, not more like a golf bag for like drinks. So a bunch of golf stuff. He loved that too. And then this year I send him a golf swing training tool. I can't even mention the name. He was so appreciative. He goes, hey, text me, goes, hey, how do you know I didn't have one of those? I said, I've been wanting to have those. I said, so-and-so, I've been coaching you for 3 years. How do I not know? He started laughing. He goes, yeah, you know me too well. So, and how I do that is I have this form called the VIP form, and I got this from Michael Mayer from 7L, is I get all this good information here, right? And then it goes down to what's important to them, holidays, snacks, golf. And then every year I said, hey, what are you doing any new hobbies? You're adding new things that are exciting, that's really important to you. So I asked that, and then depending on, if they give me a referral, if somebody gives me a referral, a client, I give them a gift based on using this information. If they're a client for me for a year or past that year, I give them a gift. And the reason I do that is because, again, it goes back to Giftology. You really want to have gifts, that are meaningful. And the summary I read is basically, it's really important to understand that giftology is really, it's life-changing if you see as a gift as a symbol of the relationship. I think a lot of people are doing gifts now that are more of their marketing material. I look for gifts that, especially when I'm building relationships with existing clients or building a relationship with somebody who's giving me a referral, become a client, I'm looking for things that stand out. So in the book, he talks about, you want practical, personalized gifts, high-end gifts, gifts that you may have to pay extraordinary a little bit more money, but it stands out. But remember, when they pick up the gift, they're not looking at your logo and that. Like I gave one of my clients been with me 4 years. I gave him a knife, a Letterman knife, I think Letterman knife with their name and their anniversary. And one guy sent an email back. He said, "Man, I've never got a Letterman knife. I've heard about it. It's got my name on it. I mean, thank you." He was very appreciative. So, and this same guy, he likes to do gardening. So I think it's his third year. I sent him some gardening tools, right? He loved that too. So it's kind of fun shopping for people when you personalize it. So if if you do want the summary, it'll help you. But it basically talks about when you do gifts from the giftology, you got to make it very personal. You have to make it very uniquely different. It stands out. It can't be marketing material. He said, don't give gift cards. Don't always give food. Don't give Apple products. Give something that uniquely is personal to the person. So like I had a client, a woman, I coach a chief sales officer, right? So I was looking at her VIP form. I said, okay. So every year I always send people some glasses they can celebrate. And then the following year it might be like one of those coolers backpack coolers, and people love that because it's very practical. And then I was like, hey, she says this is her second year with me. I said, huh, what can I get her? I said, oh, I'm gonna get her one of those remote photo. I can't remember what you put all the pictures and you download it and it presses put it there. And she said, Arnel, that's what I wanted. I like to see my kids, my husband, my family there. I really appreciate that because I can just load that up and it just shows, and it reminds me of the most important people in my life. I said, yeah. So, and when people know you do that, they know you're giving a gift because you value the relationship, not because of the marketing material. So the interesting thing is when you're giving gifts, think of, and when I tell people, like, I've had some people where I've given gifts, through, as a client retention, I've given gifts to people, and like when somebody gives me a referral, becomes a client, they get a gift, a nice gift, and that encourages them to give more, right? I've also seen have coached people saying using gifts to get prospects. And the other thing I have here about nominating people, like Kova Biz has nominate a young generation person. Sometimes the best way to influence somebody or win them over, if they're doing great work, nominate them. One of my best relationships ever, Eddie Drescher, I nominated him 20 some years ago for 40 under 40 because he was doing all this volunteer work, doing really good. And that deepened our relationship. And we currently have a relationship now. We talk probably twice a month, and we help each other out best we can. But I think that relationship deepened so much because I nominated him. So like Kova Biz has something for the young generation, top under 40 or 40. There's always local events you can nominate people, and it just means you care. So, and if you go back to question 4, which we talk about the art and science of this noise, the book is really good because it helps you identify which gifts not to and which gifts to. And, I have this called this VIP form that I use that helps me give an idea of the most important gifts. And then when I talk to clients, what they're working on, what are important things for them to do this year, what's important to them, I add that to my list. I have like a list of important gifts I give out every year. And what this solves, it basically, like he says in the book, your gift is a symbol of your relationship. It's a symbol of how you view that person, how you view your relationship now and in the future. And the reason I recommend this is because, like he says, if you ever, like I get his newsletter once a week and I read it. It's phenomenal information, has great information, statistics, studies. And it's really good because he has an art, signing, gifting some of the best. And because I look at gifting as a sign of generosity. So when you give a gift that's uniquely different from everybody else, you stand out, and then you just have to develop the relationship going forward. And I think the reason I'm able to retain my clients, number one, is because I think I'm a decent coach. I mean, there's always areas I can improve at, but the one thing that like my clients know that I do care, and I have a strong relationship with them. Besides knowing their goals, objectives, how they're wired, I appreciate them because I have a 24 not touch system. I have a 24 communication and influence system, and when they stay with me every year, I always have a gift that's uniquely tailored to them. And then if you give me a referral, it's usually tailored to them again. And there are other things I do throughout the year, just shows my appreciation, my generosity, and how I value the relationship. It could be as simple as a handwritten note. It could be as simple as me saying, "Hey, I really appreciate what you're doing." But when I go back to the giftology and I look at this book, the cool thing about this, it gives me an edge up because I'm giving gifts that stand out, that are personal to the individual and practical. And it doesn't have any of my marketing, just because the fact is, he says that people remember you because of the gift you give, and it's a representation of a relationship. They're not going to remember. Like, I have gifts from people that have their marketing material. I'm like, man, I don't really want to, doesn't mean I don't like the person or that. I just didn't volunteer to be a promoter of your business, or a salesperson. If you had if people had given me like a cooler, had my name on the back of it, man, that'd be great. Even a T-shirt with my name on it would have been great, but not somebody else's name, So, and I think that's where a lot of people make mistakes, because they spend a lot of time thinking they're going to give out this marketing material, cups, mugs, pen, pencils, when you really need just to be giving out stuff that's practical and personal to the individual. So I hope that was helpful. That developing referrals, what you can do is by using gifts and then nominating people, like the one I said earlier. The one is Kova Biz has a young generation, and that you can nominate a young person. I've already nominated 3 people and had one person fill it out, having the other person filling out, and another one. And I got 2 or 3 more, having them nominate themselves. I'm going to nominate them. I hope they win. And I usually do that every year. And then the quote of the week is, personalization is what turns an ordinary gift into an extraordinary one. John Ruhlin. That's the key. You have to personalize your gifts. You have to make it where people go, "Oh, that is awesome. Man, you really know me." So, lastly, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't ask this call to action. So if you need any help in your business, or you just like this content and you just want to have lunch or coffee just to talk about what I talk about, just to get to know me, and maybe I can help you any way I can, because I like to help people. And please just reach out to me, email, text, call, and just reach out. So I hope this was very helpful. Again, thank you for listening to the episode, the vlog, the Arnel. This is, I believe, week 6, and we appreciate you and look forward to our next episode we'll share. All right, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.